boldip.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Bold Inventor Show. I'm your host, JD Houvener, with my trusty co-pilot, Matt Kolsev.
Hello.
How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, man. It's a bright, beautiful, sunny, cold day here in Minnesota.
Love it. Yeah, weather's getting better. We're officially into spring, ready to launch. I'm excited. We have two guests on our show waiting patiently backstage. This is awesome, right? This is going to be a new trend. We're reaching out to inventor clients, having them come showcase what they're working on here on our stage. For those that may be new to the podcast and new to the video cast, we're broadcasting live across Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We welcome live questions, feedback, comments, you name it. We want to get this thing to be more lively and exciting. While we are attorneys, of course, the information shared does not constitute legal advice. We're just chatting about patents. We're hanging out, talking about trademarks and copyrights and trade secrets. We want to have some good discussions. So know that nothing here will be kept confidential. So please don't share any of that secret goodness here on air. We want you to speak with us in confidence. So I'll provide a link here in just a little bit for us to do that. Again, any live questions, we'll take those as priority. But I want to take this first segment here. We'll be doing an interview with a couple inventors, and then we'll jump to our any live Q&A or preloaded Q&A, and then I've got a bold bite set up for us.
That's an action-packed episode, my friend.
It is. We just jam a lot into a half hour. So we're going to see what we can do today. Hope you're on your toes here, Matt. You ready to rock?
Yep. I'm on my toes. Yeah.
I'm standing. I'm on the standing desk. Here we go. Ronnie Collis, welcome to the program.
Hey, again, JD, I'll tell you a couple things. Number one, as I sat there quietly, kind of wanted to talk during how you talk about from your podcast to being an attorney, and you still look like the most normal dude ever, yes. Which I think people don't understand. Inventors are normal, and so are attorneys. I went to law school at Florida State. I don't practice patent law at all. I don't practice any law, but it's funny to hear someone with your, I guess, composure to be an attorney to make it normal, where somebody that listens that has an idea could find somebody that can help them say, oh, did I really just come up with that 8-track, or did that really already exist? That piece. And we all live there, but we all have ideas that we don't know that it solves a problem. As a patent attorney, I know that's what you guys look for. Does it solve a problem? Did somebody else already do it? Is there a different way to do it? It's more efficient. And I think with my patent, it took the advice of a patent attorney, and there weren't necessarily podcasts around or someone that friendly says, hey, I don't care who your attorney is, but if you have an idea, I want to talk about it. So I just want to give you those kudos right up front that I think, quite honestly, from the process to even be able to have this conversation with you, you guys are you and Matt are on the right page in regards to people have ideas, but they don't know what to do with them.
You and I are on the right page already. We got the Nike swoosh. I don't know if we're supposed to be marketing trademarks or not. Matt will break.
I think
let's talk about what you invented. Ronnie, okay, what is your invention? Let's talk about that.
So very quickly, I don't know if any of my guys are on the phone or you see them in your lobby yet, but it'd be Mike or Derek Locker, my wife.
I wasn't sure. Let's bring Mike on. I wasn't sure if he was another inventor. Mike, good to see you. Sorry for putting you back.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey, Mike, I didn't embarrass you yet, right?
Yet's the key word there, Ronnie. Yet's the key word. No, we're doing good.
You're gonna listen, JD. You're gonna like Mike, and I know that you guys are live. But let me tell you, I've been on his live podcast, and he would tell you I accidentally said the F word, but sometimes I get off business and talk about myself. So let my business partner tell you about our invention.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, Ronnie, this is your baby. But anyway, long story short, guys, I'm out in Vegas right now representing Safeseal. Ronnie's company, the inventor of the first ever globally patented pizza box system that is tamper
JD,
resistant.
It's called a container, not a pizza box. It's a container.
Okay, we'll call it a container.
Well, legal.
So
yeah,
anyway,
but it's a pizza box.
But anyway, so yeah, we're down at the world's largest pizza expo down in Las Vegas, and needless to say, we've already had. Ronnie, you don't even know probably half the stuff yet. We haven't been able to update you, but we've been working with Ireland, Spain, Chile, Turkey, all these different locations around the world that have a problem with pizza snipers.
And they're like where the pizza actually got started, right? I mean, we're just borrowing it, right? They invented it, didn't they?
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
you're so right with that. Can I tell you this? He'll tell you the stats on when a pizza box, when there really was a patent in 1964. I think Domino's held that one. But in
Okay.
reality, we just figured out, and again, pre-COVID, and again, systems means there's other devices besides the pizza box. That's the easiest to market. So Mike will talk to you about that convention. But in reality, it's how can you get something safe to your house? That's all we were trying to do. And there was no COVID at the time.
Would you mind giving me the website address so I can plug that in here real quick?
Yeah,
Mike, you want to do it?
it's safeseal
Separate words.
systems.com.
Love it.
Safeseal-systems.com. So, obviously we're a startup. Like this was our debut this week. So, Ronnie and our entire team have been working on this for about 2 years, getting it to where it's at today. So, nobody has seen this outside of the pizzerias that have tested the product, our own product testing, the manufacturer. And so needless to say, the show has been off the charts. I mean, it's been really overwhelming. We kind of feel like, I don't know, my analogy last night at dinner with the team was like, we're coming up with a new pharmaceutical challenging
Like the
Pfizer
Tylenol. It's
or
like the
someone,
Tylenol thing, JD. But JD, if you go to that video, if you pull that back down, you were sharing screen and you play that video, a couple things you'll see, even at their booth, because he has pictures. Mike can provide all pictures of the booth at this Pizza Expo. In reality, my daughter, who is an attorney, but my wife, who's there, obviously partners with Mike and myself, is there, but it's funny. You'll see the video, and it's so simple. All we did was take a pizza box and make it where somebody couldn't sneeze on it. That, if you want to know the truth, you couldn't steal my pepperoni and you can't sneeze. So the ownership custody is now from the pizzeria to how it's delivered, but it can be with any other device. But pizza is what we're focusing on right now.
So right there, that's the pizza box design.
So
You've got packaging, right? Or a bit
Yes,
more.
Mike, can you see what he's looking at?
Yeah, I can see it. Yep, absolutely. So, guys, one of the biggest things that we've been learning down here, which we've known about, but if you Google pizza delivery driver ate my pizza, you're gonna see videos from Ring cameras, elevator cameras. Like it's a real problem. You could even find it. You can search on TikTok. There's a club of delivery drivers that actually are proud of stealing other people's food
Oh, that's nasty.
when they're doing
Oh,
delivery.
there's one.
So down here, what's really popular, and I had never heard this term, but they call it the delivery slice. Okay, so pizza owners, pizzerias are so familiar with that because they get the phone calls from the customer going, you know what, I ordered a large, but my pizza doesn't look like it's a large. And what they would do is they would slice part of the pizza, okay, and then they'd shrink it together as if that's the pizza. Nobody would even know that it's
Mike.
missing.
Hey,
It's
Mike,
crazy.
not to interrupt it, JD. When you pulled up our thing, the funniest thing ever, because I get all the videos because we're aware of all that. You don't believe it happens. You don't want to know I stole my own daughter's French fries, but I did, right? So you don't want to know that. There's a pizza guy. So if you looked at our website, that first truck that you see is a guy, and he has that downtown New York City pizza box delivery thing on the back. Inside that, there's a camera. So I'm not going to advertise for anybody, but for Connor, the people to make the cameras, and I sell IT. But that films 24 hours a day, so they can go back and say bicycle, and it can pull up bicycle. This guy every day, Mike has the video, takes the pizza out of the back of that box, takes a pizza slicer, slices 6 slices, and then squeezes the pizza back together. It's caught on video, not one day in a row, hundreds of days in a row. And that's why the camera caught it as something of a different, not nature driven. So a guy delivering a pizza box, he rides by on his bicycle. He gets out, he cuts it, he eats it, and he delivers it. So just like Mike said, he squeezes the pizza back together.
Yeah, so and another part that we've learned too, like from the gentleman from Chile, right? He rolls about 6 to 7 million pizza boxes a year, and one of his biggest complaints is theft, right? In Chile, the delivery drivers actually they apply for those jobs to feed themselves. It's like a lifestyle, right? So he figures he loses about 20 grand a month in errors and omissions, right? He gets the complaints. He's got to send another pizza out to him. There's all these different little nuances that come into play here. But another part, I just want to give an example too of a pizzeria owner that was talking about. He got a complaint just last week out of the Bronx in New York, is that someone ordered a supreme pizza, and when he got it, he said it was damn near a pepperoni pizza. They just nip off the top of the pizza.
Hey,
So
we all get hungry. We all get hungry.
we all get hungry, right? But
Okay, so
you don't know.
right. So one thing, I think what you're describing is a really cool example of this journey of making the marketing and the sales work. In your case, you've got to really paint that problem, right? In a way, you've got to be able to showcase that problem that exists now. Are you seeing that as part of your marketing efforts? Is putting that up front?
100%. I mean, the main part of the marketing, like when we're down here at the show, is we're making people aware of the problem.
Yep.
Right. So we're kind of, the approach is like a fear factor campaign, right?
Sure.
So our let's say a big vision, maybe it happens, maybe it won't, it might be too soon, but let's take the 2025, the Super Bowl, right? Our Super Bowl commercial, picture a scenario of a delivery driver in their car going out partying with their buddies the night before, someone pukes in the back seat, and then the next day in the afternoon, he's the delivery driver, your pizza's sitting in the back seat where all these people were, and then he kind of wipes his eyebrow or whatever and nips in on the pizza, goes and delivers it to you. You'll never know what happened, right? But we've got that fear factor trapped in there.
Okay, so that might make me stop ordering altogether.
Correct.
You look like you're hungry.
Isn't it like a B2B play though? Are you also working that in?
Well, there's this business side and then there's the marketing side, right? So
Yes.
as the inventor of the product, we'll say our market's a distributor. We're looking for distributors who work with the mom and pop pizzerias. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, we're interested in finding additional manufacturing resources. We can't make a pizza box if we don't have someone that can manufacture and produce it cost effectively.
Which means the distributor can't sell it and the mom and pop pizzeria can't have it. We want everyone to have it.
Now, okay, I got to ask this because it's a burning question. Have you tried or thought about approaching the big guys, the Pizza Huts, the Domino's? That
we will. So they have their contract wrapped up with their distributors, right? They're doing so much volume. I mean, they basically own the paper mills.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is that's going to be our job to make the consumer demand that Domino's, Little Caesars, the big four, if you will, have this type of pizza box, because in time, maybe it's 2 years, 3 years from now, the pizza box, it's gonna change. If you go back to 1982, you Google like the Tylenol scare, the murders, right? A guy penetrated the Tylenol bottles and people died. It changed packaging forever as we know it. We're doing the same thing in the pizza box industry. We are going to change the pizza box. It hasn't changed in 35 plus years.
Right.
It's,
And now
1967, the year I was born. Just FYI, I'm 57 years old.
Now it's time to level up, right? This is the new
cool.
wave, the next era pizza box.
And Mike, not to interrupt you, and JD, we know it's your podcast. Mike has one. You're an attorney. I'm surrounded my whole life by attorneys. I went to law school. Mike can tell you the stories. I would not make a good attorney. I'm really good at talking. Cut my tongue out. I should work at Taco Bell. That's it. That's all I can do.
That's why Ronnie's not here.
Yeah. I'm not at the Pizza Box convention.
Listen,
ready? I'm not at the convention because Mike, who's my business partner, and my wife, who's my business partner, would tell you I would get trapped at the little squirrel somewhere at the end of the convention and couldn't help it. So I know this is about you and about attracting people to JD's website, but this is a true story, and it's a story of my dad said on his dying bed, he ordered double pepperoni so it wasn't impeded with. My dad's an attorney. My dad didn't want the pizza box driver to know that would happen. He didn't want his children to know, or his wife, because he was kind of a germaphobe, by the way, way pre-COVID. My dad died before COVID. So I'm just telling you, this wasn't a fix a problem because of COVID. This is a problem that has existed forever. And Mike would tell you, I'm passionate about it, and I'll overtalk. I also know for you, this is about your podcast, and you want people to come find people like you and Mike to help say, I have an idea and I want to make it work. So I don't want to take away from what your podcast is about and not make it my commercial. So no, dude, I saw your thumbs up, but I know who you are already. I know exactly what you are. And I think that you're the attorney that gets it, and people should understand, like my partner. And again, she's no stranger to the Shark Tanks. I'm going to tell you that. So when you play your Shark Tank episode, I've been telling him how great you do on the Shark Tank episodes, because he'll want to listen to it. So the Lowe's of the world and the Home Depots of the world, this is a very different animal. We're now looking for the retailer, but we have to sell the manufacturer and the distributor on our product and our concept. Right. So that the end user wants it. So I'm still begging for the end user, but I have to have people that will supply to the end user. Correct, Mike? He's going to say
that's
how I've
right.
grown.
Yeah,
Hey, listen,
yeah.
he's getting ready to tell you, wow,
I
you've
think,
grown up
hey,
over the last 2 years.
you guys can mute Ronnie, right?
I can. I like him a lot.
Right.
Matt, I want to let you open up. Do
I've
you have
been-
any questions that were on your mind while they were talking, Matt?
No, I think just really quickly, I'll describe the box to the listeners at home, right? So it looks like a pizza box, but you know when you receive a package from Amazon, it's got like a strip that you pull basically to open the box. It's got like a adhesive strip to it, right? Then the little pull tab.
We like to call it the FedEx box of pizza.
It's a
Yes,
FedEx box of
fact,
pizza, right?
facts. It's yours.
So when you close it, you know, at the pizza shop, and you pull that and you put that adhesive on it, it seals it, right? And the only way to get it open is to pull the strip. So it's
quick
cool.
question again. Mike's going to say mute me. Let me turn the interview the other way before you take your questions from other people. But I know Mike knows every part of the business side, manufacturing side, and all of that. Let me ask this: someone came to you with this, JD, this idea. I'm Ronnie Collis. My dad talked about pizza boxes. I want to change the way it's delivered. COVID didn't exist. It does exist. So now we care more about things. That's great news. What would you say to someone that had this concept? I know what Mike's done and his brother has done. I know what, again, patent attorneys, you guys have a specific job to protect me from someone can make it like this. But what would you tell an inventor that had the concept?
Absolutely. This is our process. We start with number one, patent research. So honestly, take a look. As an inventor, you got to go do your own diligence. Have you seen anything like this before? If you've come upon this, you've worked in this industry for a while, this is the first time you've ever seen it, go look and see if it's true for your own self. And once you convince yourself this is the first of its kind, then go work with an attorney, have them do research to confirm that. Take a really serious look before you leave. This is one of my mantras, right? But
all right, can I ask this question and not to interrupt you? Would you ever say there's an idea you have, fidget spinner, that doesn't?
With all due respect, I do have to remove you just for a quick second. There we go. I apologize. We got to get moving forward. I love you, Heart Ronnie. You have so much passion. I know you do. Mike, I want to wrap up this segment. Can you share for us, and you've been on this journey with Ronnie all along, what would you say is to an inventor that is thinking about moving forward, some major lessons learned over the 2 years of even acquiring the patent or looking back now that you're trying to sell? What would you impart? What kind of wisdom would you want to share?
Well, so we've been in the space for 30 years, and we always want to advise to do the research, right? Today is easier than it's ever been with Google search. You can search Amazon, Walmart.com. Like there's all these, you could just do a simple search of a product idea. And if there's something out there and you want to make it different, you can make it different, right? But we always advise to speak with a patent attorney, complete a patent search before you get too deep in spending a lot of money. We've worked with inventors over the years that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in prototyping and CAD work and all that design work, only to find out that there's someone else out in the field from 12 years ago that maybe never launched their product, but they still have the proprietary protection. So I would advise, number one is to do your due diligence, deep dive on the due diligence. Number two, make sure you're solving a problem. If you're just doing something just for the sake of doing it, maybe you just have a ton of money and you're looking for, your kid to work. That's one thing. But if you're really into a product and you're going to go both feet in, you got to do the due diligence and be prepared to spend some money. It's not cheap.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. That's a huge kudos, right, to the patent system and wanting to get something protected. Right. You have done
Absolutely.
that.
Well, and even I do want to touch on Matt too, from a trademark perspective too. That's another part of that process. When you go through the naming process of a product and you're branding, you're doing taglines or any of that. That's like all part of that phase of all your proprietary protection. That's really important. When you're doing a product and you're going to sell on Amazon and you're going to be fulfilled FBA seller on Amazon, you want to be gated, right? You have to have a trademark to be able to be gated on Amazon, which gives you a lot of extra access to be successful on Amazon. So there's all these things in there. All I can really say is if you're going to invent a product or whatever, number one, you got to go for it. If you believe in it, don't leave it in the closet. You got to go for it. Otherwise, you're going to be kicking the can forever. And you're going to be like, oh, I thought of that 5 years ago, right? That's very common. I just think you got to go for it. And you got to talk to people like you guys to start out of the gate to make sure that it's going to be worth the time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. And thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate you guys. Hang out backstage. We're going to do our bold bite. we may be able to bring you on to review that. So thanks again.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
All right. And for those of you who want to make an action, take that step and see if now's the right time. I've got a link right here for our weekly live link for taking the action to seeing if what you've got is worthwhile moving forward. You want to have a discussion in confidence with an attorney or with Matt and talk about your trademark. You get a copy of this book behind me, Bold Ideas, The Inventor's Guide to Patents. Wow, they hit a lot. Actually, they even talk trademarks too, Matt. How about that?
Yeah.
So, and they're unpaid. I did not pay them to say those nice things about attorneys.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're pretty good attorneys, pretty nice attorneys.
Yeah, I think so too.
Unconventional.
I would say so. I would say so. Yeah.
Approachable. Yeah.
Reasonable.
Reasonable most of the time.
And also very live. So we have about 9 minutes here. Are you feeling a little hungry? Are you ready to take a bite?
Let's do it, man. Let's take a bold bite. Let's
we'll take a bold bite. Let's switch our audio over. I've got this is a toy invention. We're not getting too serious, right? We're still this springtime, time to kind of have some fun. Our kids actually last week, they're bringing home all these yo-yos. Have you guys been through the yo-yo?
No, did they do like the yo-yo thing at the school where some guy comes out with the yo-yos? And then you buy like $50 worth of yo-yos.
Yep, that's where we're at. One of each type. I've got the big sleeper with the lights that shine up, and now
What about the fireball? They still got the fireball?
No, I don't know. Is that like the butterfly one? That was about as good as it gets. When I was a kid.
Cool, that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so this is called the Zipstring. So I'm going to share my screen. Whoa! Before I do that, let me share my audio. Share the screen here. Okay. You heard about the Zipstring? You know about this?
I do not know the Zipstring.
Okay, so this will be new to you. New to me. Here we go. Let's launch.
Next up is what the entrepreneurs believe will be the next big hit car.
Hello, Sharks. I'm Austin Hillam. And I'm Stephen Fazio. Throughout the decades, we have been introduced to objects that have entertained and engaged millions. Early on, it was the yo-yo. In the 60s, we had the Etch-a-Sketch. In the 80s, there was the Rubik's Cube. Now introducing the toy of the future. Anything the user does, the Zipstring follows. The string flies around 35 miles per hour, and yet is safe to the touch.
All right, Sharks, watch this trick. It's called the swirl.
This one's the corkscrew.
This one's the step through. And the pop.
Presenting the portal.
Zipstring glides around smooth objects.
The physics teacher demonstrate a benchtop string launcher. He had this device that would launch a string in a loop. And I took that benchtop version, I compacted it, made it handheld, and I made this prototype. Everybody loved it, but I knew I couldn't make a scalable business out of it until I had Austin over.
We were just nerding out about this device. My father had some great input, and we turned it into a toy.
I put that toy on my social media, and by the end of the day, it had over 20 million views. It hit the front page of Reddit.
Oh my God. It went just absolutely nuts.
We had everybody reaching out to us.
When was that? Was just over a year ago.
So how many of you sold from all that?
We sold over 10,000.
That's it? How much do you charge for them?
Just said,
All right. Pretty exciting. Lots of social.
Zipstring.
10,000. So pretty cool invention. So they did have a patent on it. In fact, they have several, and I want to showcase that first, if that's all right with you, good sir.
I guess I'll oblige you.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Appreciate it. So this first patent was issued just last year, and so there's three named inventors, and
that tracks with what they said on the show.
It does. All good so far. Zipstring LLC is the applicant, so the company is it, and they're also the assignee. So they assign their rights to the company, formed it, which is cool. They did use an attorney. Unfortunately, they didn't go bold, but I will highlight that it does reference some provisional applications. And this is kind of fine print. You don't always look into this, but of course, being a patent attorney, I was curious. You see, there's actually reference to 2 separate provisional applications. This is not atypical. So I'm guessing that they filed their own provisional on September 6th, 2022. Then they wisened up somehow. Perhaps they went and knocked on the door of a patent attorney and they said, you know what, here's what we've submitted. And like, you know what, we need to do better. So a second provisional was filed, and it can be filed. There's no problem. You can file as many provisionals as you want, as long as they're within a 1-year time period. So, here it is. So this first provisional was November 21, right? And then a second one was filed September of 22. And so what you can do, as long as you're within 1 year, they filed November 17th, 22, right?
Yep.
So as long as it's right within that 1 year time period, 1 day before this first provisional, so it was 364 days after the first, you can make reference to a previously filed provisional application. And what that does is gives you a nice continuity all the way back to that November 18th, 2021 date. So any inventor that files after November 18th, 2021 would have lost. So I know it's a lot of timelines and nuance, but don't miss that. It's important to catch the priority date. Their patent is pretty straightforward. I thought that the claims were really well structured, very simple. So it tells me that's a nice broad patent. What's really cool too is that it's all about the string. That's what gives it its sort of secret sauce. It's a body of housing, the wheels spin it, but the string has fibers in it. So when it goes through the air, it increases air friction. And that's how it's getting additional drag and lift in the air. So they showcase this, but they have a nice detail of the actual airflow, having these little hairs and fibers that stand out when it's put in a certain direction.
Interesting. Hey, JD, quick question for you. In that Shark Tank, one of the inventors referenced that he got the idea from a professor or something like that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because that doesn't seem like all of a sudden is this novel? If somebody else already kind of created,
right.
this.
So yeah, and that definitely would be a very public declaration that maybe there was some derivation of an original concept. So if you learn from someone else, a concept or an invention, then you're not the inventor. So that is a major issue. If what is claimed does actually cover the scope of what this individual learned in physics class from the professor, they have unfortunately defrauded the patent office. Now, I'm not sure if that fact pattern lines up. Certainly you can learn certain methods and theories in a course or class and then apply it and avoid running into issues like that. But it's a great observation. Very close listening there, Mr. Kolseth.
Thank you, Professor.
Yes, very astute. 1 minute on trademark, sir. Any comments with Zipstring?
No, I'll tell you a little bit about Zipstring's trademark portfolio. So they have actually a pretty well-rounded trademark portfolio. They have something like 6 registrations at the USPTO or pending applications for a number of different products. It looks like they have several different taglines, such as "Can you push a string?" They have logos registered. They have a product called Luma, it looks like.
Okay.
Another slogan called "Wonderment Awaits." So it seems like they're pretty active in their trademark protection and registration work.
Right.
Again, I say this pretty often on this podcast, but I would love to see a registration or an application for the online retail store.
That's definitely where they're pushing. They're selling.
Yeah,
sure.
They're selling these products on probably a variety of different platforms, Amazon, their own website, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's nothing that's preventing somebody else from registering Zipstring potentially for an online store that sells different products, maybe different category products. But you'd want to own that, in my estimation.
Right. Very good points. They did it. They did get a deal. They had Robert and Kevin both went together for 20% equity for just $100,000. and this was in the end of 2022. There's no update yet. I mean, they're still selling online. They're still at the same price point at $24.99. One of the issues, as they talked about in the episode, was they had a supply chain problem. They had a lot of orders, but they weren't able to fill. They just couldn't build the thing fast enough. That's why they only sold 10,000. So they were going to be in Walmart Canada in 2023. So we'll wait for the update. But apparently there was a deal done. They got some, investor money. Seems like the Sharks might have got a heck of a deal. We get 20% of that company for $100,000.
Yeah.
That's a toy. It's a toy company. They're building a brand around one specific toy. They call it a separate category in the episode. I'm not sure if it's quite that different, but sure seems, unique to me and definitely worthy of patent protection. So I think they protected themselves well getting the patent.
Yeah. Very cool. I like it. Good find.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. We had no live questions, but if you're watching us after the fact and you have any questions, please feel free to plug that in. Give us a like, share with your social media contacts, and get us next time. We're here every Wednesday at 1:30 Pacific. And for Matt, myself, and Bold Patents, I wish you guys a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next week. Go big, go bold.
Go bold at boldip.com.